first we're going to pick the meat that we're going to use.
Pork chops.
Elena has got pork chops. Chicken legs.
Chicken legs.
And now picking the main vegetable.
Portobello mushroom.
Elena has portobello mushroom. Green cabbage.
Green cabbage.
Picking 2 pages of the weekly flyer. You have to use something from each of those pages. Her first page is
The front page.
the front page of specials. And the second page will be
Bakery.
the bakery section.
And for Jordan's first flyer pick,
The Eat Well specials.
and for flyer pick number 2,
Also bakery.
challenge, I'm going to make rosemary and panko crusted pork chops and a side of potato bacon stuffed portobello mushrooms. My jam is a blackberry jam, and I'm going to use that as a sauce for my pork chops.
Okay, so I'm going to make with my ingredients from the flyer and the ingredients from the hat challenge. I'm going to make a Nashville hot chicken with a tarragon breading, and I'm going to do it baked, not fried. So I'm going to try and get it less oily when I make a really rich wash and dredge to compensate for the not frying. And then I'm going to serve that with a cabbage peppercorn ranch slaw with a fieldberry mix to make use of my mandatory ingredient. And I'm going to incorporate the hot and the creamy into all of it, and with tarragon as well as my secret ingredient and my secret weapon ingredient. And then I'm going to serve it on sourdough English muffin as my bread base. So first thing I'm going to do is going to get my butter ready. I'm going to put butter in my wash for some richness and get that melted, and then make my egg wash and breading for my chicken.
I'm going to put some water in this pot and start boiling my potatoes. And I'm also going to start cooking my bacon.
Okay, so I'm going to get my eggs into some milk here to start this egg wash. I'm going to use whole eggs. And just start whisking those up. A little bit of milk.
So how hot is your Nashville hot?
It's going to be pretty hot. I'm pouring in my melted butter. And a little bit of cream.
Chop my rosemary and mix it in with my panko and also get my egg wash ready for my pork chops. I'm getting my eggs in. Oh. And I'm gonna get my panko. Mix my rosemary into my panko. Might add a little more, but see how this goes first. Alright, so I've got my pork chops, getting them ready, and the egg here. Make sure they're nice and covered. And I'm going to put them in my rosemary panko. I'm just going to leave them in this pan until I'm ready to fry them up. So I have them ready to go.
Alright, I'm going to chop a little tarragon to put in my egg wash here.
Smells nice.
It's beautiful. Tarragon is one of my favorite ingredients. I use it for stuff that usually might use something simpler like a basil, but I love using tarragon where it's not supposed to be. Alright, so I'm throwing my tarragon in here, whipping that up into my wash, and add my hot sauce, a generous amount. So, Chef, when are you going to start prepping those pork chops?
I'm just finishing up my bacon. I'm going to take it out and set it aside until I'm ready to get it in with my potato mixture, and then I'm going to start my pork chops. I'm just putting my mushrooms into the pan for a little while, covered to soften them up a little bit before I stuff them with my potato and bacon. So are you going to leave the skin on that chicken?
I'm actually going to take it off. I know is the risk of not having crispy skin, but I think with the amount of breading and the amount of fat that I'm putting into my dredge here, it's going to be quite crispy and quite rich enough without it, and it's going to make a tiny bit healthier, but it's also going to give it a little more streamlined and just get the crunch and then and get that meaty chicken in there.
All right.
We're halfway at your time, Chef. What do you got next?
I'm going to start working on my sauce while I'm just waiting for my potatoes to boil and my mushrooms to get a little softer. I put some fresh garlic minced in the pan with the mushrooms that I'm going to add to this, and I'm going to make my sauce with my blackberry jam, bacon fat, and cream.
I'm ready to dredge and bread my chicken. So first I'm going to put another liberal amount of hot sauce on here and do a rub. Just kind of work it in around as much as I can.
What's that in your panko there?
In the panko, my breading is going to be panko. It's a little bit more of tarragon, my mandatory herb that I selected, and some cracked black pepper. So just a little more heat and a little more flavor than just a straight breadcrumb. Okay, so we've got these nice and lathered up in hot sauce. I'm going to dredge them in the egg and cream wash from earlier. Just kind of get that in there and get it right into the bread mix. Get that all right in there. Get a little bit of that pink color in there to show that it's naturally hot. And then right on to my pan and ready to go in the oven.
My sauce is a little too sweet from the jam that I have to use as a mandatory ingredient. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of the mushroom stem, and that way I have more room to stuff the mushroom, and I also can get some of the mushroom flavor into the sauce, which I think will help it be a little less sweet.
Alright, we're going to chicken in the oven and start working on the slaw.
So my potatoes are done, my sauce is done, and I'm going to get started on the filling for my portobello mushrooms, which is going to be potato and bacon. I'm going to get these in the food processor, whip them up with some cream, and add some bacon pieces.
Okay, so I'm slicing my green cabbage, which is one of my items. Into a bit of a coarse chop. Give it some body and some crunch.
Potatoes, I'm going to put some bacon in and some more butter. And mix it all together.
Alright, so we're going to add some onion, and with the ingredients we have, we don't have a lot to work with, so we're going to go a little heavy on onion because I don't have any other things to really put in the slaw. So we're going to dice up some onion here. Okay, and because we don't have a lot of ingredients, I'm going to use not only my fresh tarragon, more of that, and some garlic, but also going to use some celery spices. I don't have celery to put in it, anything else like that. So we're going to kind of fake it with some celery spice. And also some thyme.
Throwing raw garlic in the slaw there, that's a bold flavor.
A little bit of garlic. A little bit of ginger powder for some heat. Some parsley for color. And then our mandatory ingredient, I've chosen a triple field berry, wild blueberry and blackberry. And some raspberry, and that's going to go into the slaw with 3 component. And then the peppercorn ranch, which is going to be the main dressing to put it all together.
I've hollowed out my mushrooms and I'm spooning in my potato bacon filling.
we'll get this slaw into the fridge to chill and bring it out there nice and cold and crisp when our chicken's done.
So I've got my pan heated up and I've got my pork already ready to go. I'm going to get it into my pan. And in the meantime, I'm going to prepare my bread fingers, and that's it.
Alright, I have my sourdough English muffins. Get them buttered with a little softened real butter. Get those into a pan just to crisp the top, to leave them a little fluffy, just like Nashville hot chicken is usually served on untoasted white bread. So my little take on it, we'll still have the fluffy, a little bit of the crisp butter outside. Easy in the pan.
My honey bun garlic bread fingers that I'm just toasting up in my pan while I finish off my pork. I've only got about 2 minutes left. How you feeling?
Feeling good. All gonna be ready.
A bit at a time, and plating up my dish. My pork. That did not quite go as planned, but will still be delicious.
What's up? Coleslaw. Chicken out. Across. A little tarragon sprig just for the signature on top. Can't wait to see what you got for us today.
I've got for you a rosemary panko crusted pork chop with a bacon and potato stuffed portobello mushroom, some sweet honey bun garlic fingers, and for my sauce I have a blackberry mushroom garlic sauce.
Alright, this looks great. You've got a nice little garnish, a little swoop there. Looks very professional. Can't wait to give it a try. It's good. The pork's just the tiniest bit tough, but the breading's really crisp. And that sauce you put on top, the sweetness with the pork, is just amazing. That's fantastic. And your stuffed mushroom here. I was worried the portobello flavor might be overwhelming with the really whipped light potato, but really the garlicky and the bacon all comes through, works with the mushroom. It's just, it's a great little stuffed dish altogether. Flavors really work. All in all, great job.
I wasn't sure what I would think about that sauce. Very different ingredients, but I think it worked surprisingly well. The potato and bacon is delicious, but I would say that the mushroom flavor is just a little on the overpowering side. But all in all, a great dish. So what have you made for us today, Chef?
Today I've made for you my take on a Nashville hot chicken, and it's with a tarragon coating and on a bed of a fieldberry and peppercorn ranch slaw with underneath a sourdough English muffin as the bread base. Chicken's definitely really well done, and yeah, that the sweet berry really works with the ranch. I would like to have a little more heat, a little more of the hot sauce. I know you put a lot in there, but I'd like to have a little more just for my my hot chicken. I like to really kind of make me sweat. I'm not really getting the sweat feeling, but the flavors here are great.
So good. I was wondering if the coleslaw would work well on top of the English muffin. It's not really a traditional idea, but there's just something about the sourdough and the berry sweet mixture that's just like a perfect combination. So what do you think of Jordan's dish?
Well, I think that his use of the ingredients that he had, with the jam component being the main one, and the fresh herb he had to pick, incorporating that into all of the parts, I think worked really well. And it was definitely for me just the flavors all came out, and even though it wasn't as hot as I usually like Nashville chicken to be, I think again all the flavors really came out.
Yeah, I'm thinking a similar thing. I think like it was close to perfect. I was very surprised by the taste of the coleslaw and the sourdough English muffin, and I thought that worked really well. The only thing I was looking for was more heat, but other than that, it was great.
Okay, and what did you think of Elena's dish, the pork?
Another great dish. I really love the sauce on the top. My only criticism with that was I think that because of the way the pork was cooked in the pan, that it ended up being a little overdone and a little dry.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the portobello mushroom was a big risk doing that pan fried and stuffed, almost like a twice baked potato, but with mushroom. I thought that was a really great idea. Using the food processor to get everything really creamy. I think that really worked really well. I agree with you that the sauce on top with the incorporation of the jam element was great. Just as you said, I think for me that the thing was that to get that breading in the pan fry with the bone-in pork chop to not burn, to get that breading right when the breading was perfect. The pork chop just ended up being a little dry and a little tough. So I think that was the big difference for me.
Agreed.
So we're agreed on which way we're going on this?
I think so.
Okay, let's bring them in.
All right. The chef going home today is Chef Elena. Jordan! Yeah!
Cheers!